Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to share some thoughts as we celebrate 90 years of CANSA. As the chair of the CANSA board and on behalf of the board, I would like to share this day with you and extend our gratitude to all stakeholders equally, be it staff, board members, donors, or recipients. When I addressed the staff and volunteers, I said CANSA works because we all work together and we are all important for functioning of the organization. And I say it to you as well today. One of my favorite teachings in the book of Corinthians in the Bible say, just as a body, though one, has many parts, but all its many parts form one body. Same as us, there is staff, volunteers, board, donors, etc. But we all form the CANSA body. Now, if any of the parts should say, because I'm not a hand, nor an eye, or an ear, I do not belong to the body, would that stop them being parts of the body? No. However, a whole body is not an eye only, nor an ear. Otherwise, how would it hear, how would it walk or speak if only one part forms the body? This leads me to concur that CANSA cannot exist if it is only the board, or only the staff or volunteers. Separately, we are individuals, but together we form the body. Therefore, in my eyes, all of us are equally important, as I cannot do your task and you cannot do mine. But we need all hands on the deck to make CANSA successful, as it has proven over the 90 years. I am grateful to lead our board that has talented and dedicated men and women who selflessly share their expertise in different fields and share their wisdom as well. It is very difficult these days to get professionals to get involved in community projects, as there are no huge fees to be gained, but the past and present board members are shining examples of good citizens and willingly bring their wealth of knowledge and time. So you may ask as to how did I get to this wonderful organization and be part of its body? CANSA found me through Willis Towers Watson, who are our investment advisors. There was a vacancy in the investment committee, and through our interaction in another organization, they asked me if I could help. Of course I did, because I saw it as an opportunity to give back to the society, and I am glad that I did, and be able to work with all these wonderful unsung heroes. Over the years I have known CANSA, I have seen some positive changes, such as the CANSA tele-counseling that has been launched that can help people in 7 languages, and it is a free service. CANSA being recognized in many surveys, such as being the most coolest by young people or the most trusted charity. The increase in the diversity of people that we help in line with the demographics of the country. Still about the body. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. Therefore, today it is to honor and thank everyone for dedication and loyalty as we celebrate 90 years. And I reiterate, we are very grateful for your care that is sensitive to each individual situation, to each person's culture, and your knowledge of CANSA, as well as catering to the needs of their loved ones and caregivers. Your critical role in influencing and helping to build a world without CANSA. We are grateful for working together to raise funds and get work done. And we are there when those affected by CANSA need us the most. CANSA affects everyone, regardless of their age, class, nor race. I am no exception. Some people very close to me have been affected by CANSA, and I'm grateful that I could help them either to get more information or let them get support from CANSA, because it is easier to deal with any situation when you are well informed. In the words of Madiba, education is the most powerful weapon you can have. We are grateful to all of you for making our communities a better place to be. My vision for CANSA in the next few years is to see us being self-sufficient, being able to provide our literature in almost all South African languages, and being able to reach every corner of South Africa. But overall, our long-term vision is a cancer-free society. Again, I want to say congratulations for being part of the legacy that has been here for over 9 decades. Keep upholding our mission and our purpose for many more years to come. Thank you. Enkosi. Ke a leboga. Thank you.
Proud of the achievements of this organization and to have been part of it for over 30 years. Can you believe that? I always say it's my baby that I've grown up. You know, if I think about the humble beginnings of this organization.
CANSA was sort of seen as a charity organization for many years, where you can go and get everything you want for free. And with this new focus of CANSA being a non-profit company, a business, we had to think different.
We're a South African brand and we impact on so many people. Everyone can be affected by cancer.
Do you think that we are the biggest sole contributor to cancer research in South Africa? When we initiated this program, when we gave the first grant to Dr. George Utley in 1958. And over the years, we've contributed millions to research, cancer research in South Africa.
So I think with any disease or illness, research is crucial in terms of the development and trying to understand how one can treat, prevent, and diagnose any illness or disease. And I think cancer research is particularly important in South Africa.
With all the research that's taking place on cancer, I strongly believe one day we're going to get there. One day we're going to get there. And I'm so happy that, you know, as it is today, the treatment options available are much better than it was before. And the support that is given to our patients is very good and critical because they need that. You know, they are going through a very difficult time when they have cancer and they need that support. And CANSA provides support to its patients that is wonderful support and very much needed.
My sister died of breast cancer. You know, how she suffered, and us as a family, how we suffered, not able to help her. As a person, you know, working for cancer, I think it's so important for me to be able to help other patients and other families not to go through what we went through as a family. it gives me satisfaction. It gives me joy that I'm helping somebody.
I don't think anybody could go through this without support. There are moments where all you need is to feel normal and just talk about, I don't know, the weather, sports, politics, and not hear about anything medical. There are days where you just need to cry and you just need somebody to be there to let you cry. And there are days where you need to be pampered.
Hello, ndidinga uthetha nomntu.
Cancer Association, good day. Melissa speaking.
Hello, ke qeta ho fumana hore ke na le lefu la mofetshe.
To help people who are desperate. You know, it's such a reward for us, but also a blessing for the public. Just from a point of view that, you know, there's someone that they can still talk to. Even if it is just for something as simple as, I'd like to know where I can maybe get a wig during this time. Or I really do need to speak to somebody because I can't deal with my diagnosis.
Ek is Lusel Kibero. Ek is 51 jaar oud. Ek is al in 1998 die eerste keer gediagnoseer met kanker.
We'll be offering an appointment-based counselling service for patients, any new diagnosis or anyone who's got an existing diagnosis but is maybe looking for help. We will extend our services as well to loved ones, family members, any parent of a child who has cancer.
So sabona ba le service ngayi service ebalulekileyo kakhulu ebantwini. Bangavele bafone and then balifumana uncedo from i-telephone.
Kom ek sê gou vir die mense, tel op die telefoon. Tel dit op. Jy weet nie wat aan die ander kant van die lyn gaan gebeur nie. Praat. As jy nie gaan praat, gaan niemand weet wie jy voel nie.
Omdat ons kankerpasiënte se immuunstelsel so laag is hulle hoë risiko en hierdie telefoniese ondersteuningsdiens bring dan ons ondersteuning vanaf die kankervereniging van Suid-Afrika tot binne die huis van ons pasiënt.
So sifuna bonke abantu bakwazi ukufikelela kuthi nge-language zabo abazithethayo emakhaya.
Dit gaan baie beteken vir die pasiënte, want dit beteken dat CANSA die grense van dorpe gaan wegneem.
We are there to say that cancer cares and that they're not alone.
Bazofumana uncedo abaludidayo.
You make that choice. It's not an easy choice. It's going to be challenging, but you can.
We've always done counselling face-to-face. We've got our support groups. It was a talk that telecounselling was something we wanted to do, and lockdown just helped us get us there faster because we saw how people needed it.
Hi everyone, this is Mark Pilgrim, cancer survivor and big supporter of the Cancer Association for probably about 27 years now. I had cancer back in 1988, stage 3 testicular cancer, which went to my lungs and kidneys. And I'm proud to say that I am in remission for 30, let me do the math, 30, how many years? 33 years. And may it continue being that way. This is just my message to the volunteers, the staff at the Cancer Association of South Africa, to say thank you so much for what you do each and every day. Yes, there's the fundraising element to it, which is vital for the survival of the Cancer Association, but you do so much more than raise money. Because I can remember when I had chemotherapy, just making sure my songs are still playing. I'm on the radio right now, by the way, so I've got to make sure the tunes are playing. When I was having chemotherapy, there were many days when I felt I was alone. And I think one of the vital roles you play is that you let people know that there is someone that cares. You envelop them in a love bubble. You give them the motivation. You give them the inspiration to fight another day, to the point where they hopefully realize they're not just survivors, they are thrivers. And it's because of what you do. So keep doing what you do. From myself as a survivor, thank you.
in the beginning, the only of its kind organization tackling the whole issue of cancer in South Africa. But as we go along, small little organizations sort of just arise. And that was also an opportunity for us to stay the leader, not only in South Africa, but in Africa.
It was in the 80s. You know, at that stage, cancer, the disease, were very much still seen as a white person's disease. And we started to expand.
You know, in 1994, as an organization, we stepped with the whole South Africa into a bit of an uncertain situation, from a more white-focused organization to an organization that see opportunities and challenges. And we really want to reach out to the whole South Africa. And in that process, the buzzword in the health sector was health promotion. And that fits into the whole new focus of CANSA. And we started in communities, learning, teaching people about the warning signs of cancer, the importance of early detection, and where to go for screening and other information. And that was a wonderful opportunity for us to spread our wings into the whole South Africa.
We, in the Free State, when I was working there, we got our first mobile unit. And those mobile units, we had about 12 at some stage. Those units took out services to people who have low access to any health services in communities, that I could be part of how we build CANSA, to be there. I mean, I was in Kwakwa, and I recall at some stage we got another unit from Avon, and I call it our pink truck.
We started in communities, learning, teaching people about the warning signs of cancer, the importance of early detection, and where to go for screening and other information.
So early detection and health promotion are one of the key ways in which one can reduce your cancer risk. So CANSA's health awareness campaigns, it runs throughout the year. And we focus on creating awareness on how to reduce your cancer risk.
Early detection is really important, particularly in cancer, where, and I think where cancer could play a really important role is to sort of educate the public and potential patients about the early signs and symptoms of a possible cancer. Because what we do know is that in many instances, people present late for treatment and services.
Misinformation, poor access to prevention, screening and treatment contributes to 90% of cervical cancer deaths in Africa. Cervical cancer is also the leading cause of cancer-related deaths among South African women. This is heartbreaking because cervical cancer is highly preventable and treatment can be very effective. So let's talk facts, break stigma, and save lives. More than 70% of cervical cancer is caused by high-risk human papillomavirus, HPV, which is transmitted through skin-to-skin contact. About 7 in every 10 people will have an HPV infection at some point in their life. This infection causes cervical cells to become abnormal over time, with symptoms presenting late and many women having none. This is why regular pap smears are so important. Pap smears detect abnormal cells before they become cancerous by taking a swab of the cervix. This is a bit uncomfortable, but painless and doesn't take too long. With regular pap smears and early detection, treatment is effective. Play your part to help end cervical cancer by knowing the facts, advocating for girls 9 to 12 to get the HPV vaccination at school. If you're under 28, get an HPV vaccine at your local pharmacy. Start the conversation. Check in with friends and family about their pap smear status. Women aged 18 to 69 years are encouraged to book a pap smear at a cancer care center or health facility today. Together, we can save lives.
When I got to the Cancer Association and when people heard that I was working here, the support from people, the willingness to be part of cancer, whether it was just through volunteering or donations in kind, the Rotary, and we can't fight this battle alone. We need the support of both the public sector and the private sector to do the work that we do.
For us to have survived over the 90 years, we look back to the milestones, projects that have been around for more than 25 years, projects that have just started. And it's really keeping the fun in fundraising that brings the communities together. And I think, Rian, you always say we must relay and not replay as well. That means that we have to keep our projects fresh and make sure that we are inclusive so that everybody can have an approach where they feel they can make that difference by being involved with cancer fundraising events.
Working with survivors, working with volunteers, those are the ones that really help us achieve our milestones.
We've got groups of volunteers in communities that are raising awareness days for their communities where they live and organizing screenings and raising funds to fund those screenings, and then going and visiting patients and caring for the patients.
I realized that the relationship with a volunteer is more than just someone that you rope in to come and do something. It is really a relationship of mutual respect. Number one, mutual respect, and that we don't have to be in each other's space every day. We have respect for each other's private lives, but then also, I think the most important thing is that respect for each other's work environment. It is wonderful to work with our volunteer corps that really respect what we do and see the impact and the workload.
I'm always humbled by the dedication of a volunteer.
CANSA have 4 national projects, but I think the 2 projects that truly involves all community members is Relay for Life. Absolutely. And that is such a volunteer-driven one. And Rian, the wonderful thing about Relay for Life is that we celebrate, we remember, we fight back. And it's not just about the survivor, it's about the caregiver. It's about every community member that feels part of the fight against cancer. And then, of course, Shave-a-thon. Colorful, bright, but with such a deep meaning. I don't think I have, in the 13 years that I've been with CANSA, had one Shave-a-thon event where we didn't cry.
We do Shave-a-thon, which includes Spray-a-thon, which the kids absolutely love. They just, every year I get sprayed every different color possible. We have our own little version of the Relay for Life, and we call that Walk and Chalk, where we actually have a chalk race. And funds go through to cancer from there. It's a major fundraiser. We now have this exciting one for TLC, which is a Pediasure drive.
No matter how hard you work and how much time you put into volunteering, I promise you there's a satisfaction that I personally get out of it that I can't explain to others. It's not the satisfaction you get from eating a good meal or going on a good holiday. It's something up there that you can't describe. And I think people need to experience it and therefore they need to volunteer.
Kanker is 'n eensame siekte.
I was diagnosed 10 years ago with breast cancer.
Ek is in 1988 gediagnoseer met kanker.
I wasn't part of any support group at the time. I did not feel that I was ready to attend a support group.
Dit was vir my baie traumaties. Ek het heeltemal in ontkenning gewees daaroor.
People don't easily talk about cancer. Very much still a hidden subject.
One of the things that kills people is ignorance. They still don't understand what is going on. The only way we can reach out to as many people as possible is if we get as many volunteers as possible.
The Cancer Association of South Africa welcomes volunteers of all ages, all sizes, all cultures. The incidence of cancer is rising, so we need more volunteers to get involved.
Sometimes you can't change the situation, but you know, making somebody smile even if they are in their worst, it makes me happy inside, let me just say so.
Elke mens het sekere behoefte daaraan om gehê te wil word, né? So as jy gehê wil word, moet jy jouself kan gee.
Many of our cancer survivors want to give back. They want to get involved.
Ek dink daar's nie 'n beter manier om jouself te gee as om vir iemand anders iets te beteken nie.
The journey that I've went through could be of assistance and guidance to others. I can relate to that, I can empathize with them, and also provide them with the opportunity to join a support group. Successful support group is when members say they actually feel they belong to a family. And they share their stories, and we laugh and we cry.
You get to meet different kinds of patients every time. You get those ones who are withdrawn, who don't want to talk. You get those ones who just want you to listen.
Dis vir my baie lekker om as ek by 'n pasiënt kom en hulle is bly om my te sien. Dan weet ek beteken vir hulle iets.
I think there's a definite need for volunteers.
There is a lot that needs to be done.
And we particularly welcome volunteers that will help raise funds. We cannot provide the service, the care and support that we do without raising extra funds. A lot of our volunteers get involved with our Cancer Shave-a-thon, or they get involved with Cancer Relay for Life. If you are keen on running or cycling, you can get involved with our Cancer Active program. And there's a lot of skills transfer. There's a lot of training and development that we provide for volunteers. And we'll be able to provide more screening to the public out there, which means that we're going to be lowering the risk of cancer.
It feels good because you're doing it from the heart.
En waar daar kindertjies betrokke is, daai ouers het baie ondersteuning nodig. Hulle besef hulle gaan hulle kind verloor. So as daar nie volonteërs is om hulle te help nie, hoe gaan hulle regkom?
It gives you the confidence to actually say to the community, I can give something back. And it makes all the difference.
Hi, I'm Roseanne Mackenzie, and I would like to send my best wishes and congratulations to the staff and volunteers of CANSA on the 90th anniversary of this incredible organization. 90 years of anything is an achievement in itself, but to keep something like CANSA running successfully for so long is down to the people who make it happen. So to the staff and volunteers, for your love and care that you put into your work every single day to make sure that other people are taken care of. This is a celebration of you. I've been lucky enough over the years to work alongside CANSA on various events like the Rosa CANSA or even the Shave-a-thon, and to see the kind of work that is being put in to take care of people who are suffering with this disease is staggering. So I applaud you. I take my hat off to you. I congratulate you. Take time to enjoy this moment. 90 years of an organization, you are part of that success. So pat yourselves on the back, take a moment to take it all in, and I'm sending you all of my love and all of my congratulations, because you really are the heroes that need to be celebrated, not only on the 90th anniversary, but every single day.
I've got the most inspirational motivation from staff and volunteers, people that really care. They want to give, they want to say, here I am. And the commitment and the passion. I don't think you will find it in any other type of business. And you know that this approach of giving, going the extra mile, also can roll over to our partners. And partners will be definitely inspired as they work closer to us to see the commitment, to see the real urge to give and to give back.
I think if we look at where we were and where we are now, one of the strengths is partnerships. And I think our South African public also are ready for health messages around campaigns. We're finding more and more people want to know, what screening test can I go for? And, there isn't one screening test that you can have for cancer. And then there's also the people that want to know, how can I reduce my risk? Because we're seeing more and more people being affected by cancer. I think the public are hungry for information. So we are very, very fortunate that we have the cancer platform to create awareness around our messaging. So my big thing is, yes, let's get our partnerships out there, strengthen the partnerships.
Partnerships are so important, especially those partners that give us gifts financially. Wow, without you, without those partners, we wouldn't be able to give the care and support that we do. We would not be able to expand our existing service programs. So thank you, and please stay on board and just join us for the next 90 years.
Donors and partners are the lifeline for the Cancer Association. Every donation, and I know we especially now get a lot of companies or a lot of partners and sponsors that come to us and say, I can only give a percentage of what I used to. But it is that percentage that truly keeps the doors open for those that need us.
The partner is not only somebody that you know on paper, but somebody that come into CANSA's house and say, let us take your hand and let us help the people on the ground. And from there on, I can mention a lot of names. However, the importance is these people feel that they make a difference, not only in CANSA's business, but in the life of the cancer patient, and that also make their business and their social responsibility much more tangible.
I have to thank every sponsor, every partner, every donor, because it's every rand that comes in that fuels this organization. So no donor or no sponsor should measure him or herself or their company or their organization against anyone else. Because for some, it is the monetary value. For others, it might be something totally different that they give. From assisting us in education, assisting us with webinars, online, donating for our care homes, they make the difference.
The success of CANSA, the brand, is very dependent on staff volunteers, but our partners, our stakeholders, our donors, our clients. They're amazing, and together we fight cancer. Together we do these amazing programs.
CANSA as an organization cannot go one day without partners supporting us. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of these partners, because you're not doing it for us as individuals, but you're doing it for the cancer patient on the ground.
Many voices are stronger than one voice. And if you partner with other organizations, you are able to work through obstacles quicker and more effectively than you are working alone. And and also those partners that are contributing to our cancer mission and vision.
In 2016, 2018, we had a huge problem in KwaZulu-Natal where our radiotherapy machines were not working. And we know radiotherapy forms an important part of treatment for a cancer patient. It was the delays in accessing radiotherapy has far-reaching consequences on the health of a cancer patient, and often can lead to death if not, if you don't access timely treatment. And radiotherapy is used, a lot among cervical cancer patients. That's part of the treatment regime. And if you think about cervical cancer, it has the highest mortality in our country. So during this time, the radiotherapy machines were not working, both at Addington Hospital, and later it was also a problem at Albert Lutuli Hospital. So those are the two main treatment centers in the Durban area. So we received a lot of concerns from the public about, it was sad, the delay was almost a year, 6 to 8 months, some of them going into a year, some people, even passed on without even accessing the treatment. So we worked with other organizations, and we worked with the Human Rights Council, who played a very, very important role in investigating that matter. And I think within a year, there was, through strong public-private partnerships, a lot of the patients were then able to access treatment in the private sector through partnerships, and also through the WITS consortium coming on board and assisting both these hospitals.
There was a fire crisis at a hospital, and the oncology department was closed. And there was confusion. Patient, they didn't know what to do. They had their appointments, so they didn't know whether they must come to the hospital or not. And it was just a big mess. Patients, families, some of them, they were in tears. They didn't know what to do. They really didn't know what to do. One of the things which was frustrating them, so there was a number, a toll-free number, which was given to them. So even myself, I remember I tried that number. When you call, there's no answer. Some of the patients, they contact the CANSA toll-free line, or send the WhatsApp messages, or send us email. So I had people who I was working with at Gauteng Department of Health. I think there were 2 ladies we were allocated to deal with these issues. And really, I must say, they did try their best. And they will come back to me and give us feedback that, okay, this patient, we've contacted this patient.
Through partnerships and working with other groups, we can help people.
Started a campaign where the cancer survivors, after their chemo and radiation was over and their hair grew back, we invited them to come into our doors, and we would treat them to a complimentary cut, style, color treatment, whatever was necessary, just to ease them back into their new hair journey. Because as many of you know, when hair falls out with chemo and radiation and it grows back, invariably it grows back a different color, it grows back a different texture, and it's a foreign thing for a man or a woman to look at themselves and see this new hair. So that's the reason why we got involved. We have 19 salons now, and we want to give back even more.
Had the most fantastic time having a Gary Rom experience. I didn't think I'd have this much fun, because I'm like, my hair is such a tricky thing, so how are they gonna handle it? And then they gave me such beautiful, tender, loving care with my heart, my soul, and most importantly, my hair. So I had a good time. I'm thankful for this experience.
That is how survivors are treated. Guys, I'm back there again. You know the feeling I have? I can also say to you, I did not lose my hair. My hair was done today. If you commit yourself to have yourself tested early enough, you do not have to have to lose your hair through chemo. Please go out there, make sure that you go and get yourself tested. It's so important.
With it being CANSA's 90th birthday, Gary Rom himself, as well as our Gary Rom Hairdressing brand, felt it's very important that we get together and also put our little stamp on giving back to the community. Being a cancer survivor myself, it was a very emotional morning, having all the beautiful ladies here, and people tend to forget everyone has their own story. Everybody has their own little piece of hope that they cling onto, and yeah, I get quite emotional myself, but being a survivor and deciding to handle it with grace is a choice. Handle it with grace and be a go-getter.
For me, my hair was a biggie. Once I've lost my hair, it felt like I lost my personality, I lost my sense of being a woman. So I think the nicest thing is to actually touch my hair and think, this is mine. It's not a wig. And that's nice for me. So thank you so much for being made pretty today.
I'm so excited also about some of the work that we're doing about the CANSA Seal of Recognition. Where we look at products and we say, how can they lower the risk? So when consumers, when you go shopping and you picking up that box and you're thinking, should I buy this? And if you see our CANSA Smart Choice, it's telling you that this has been checked, this has been verified, and that this is going to help you lower your risk, or that it's good for you. I feel so fantastic knowing that we've got this basket of goods. So we put together these incredible animations. Our suppliers are just so creative.
The seal is part of the research department because a lot of research goes into the seal. When we are looking at the products that carry the CANSA Seal of Recognition, they all have to go under strict criteria and strict testing by independent laboratories. So for example, the sunscreens that we have, they have to be sent out to check for the UV, UVB protection, the protection factor, the SPF protection factor. And we also look at the ingredients that are in the sunscreens to make sure that they are safe and healthy for consumers to use. We also look at, like I was saying earlier, we also look at the label because it's important for people. What is on the label is also equally important with what is inside, because we want to be able to make sure that the claims that are on those labels are true and accurate claims. I would like to see products that carry the seal in every household in South Africa. I would like a situation where everyone, despite of the socioeconomic groups, knows what the seal is about, and when they go shopping or when they are, shopping for their products, we want to see their trolleys full of seal of recognition goods. That is the vision, that everybody knows about the seal. Everybody makes use of the products that we endorse at the CANSA Seal of Recognition.
As part of CANSA's 90th birthday, we are revitalizing the Seal of Recognition program. The seal now has a new look and feel, making it easier to spot the products that will help you lower the risk of cancer. Each category is color-coded, making it more convenient for you. Also introducing our new physical activity category. Go to cansa.org.za to learn more and see all of our Seal of Recognition partners and the products they have to offer. lowering the risk of cancer together.
So proud of this organization. We've proved that over the years that we are adaptable, we are resilient, we're abreast of what's happening in the cancer control environment, but also in business. And I really see it as my responsibility to keep abreast. It's my role to ensure that we've got a strategy, an effective strategy that defines what winning will mean for cancer, how we can beat the odds. It's a very challenging environment to operate as an MPO, especially in South Africa with an economy that's really struggling, a health system that's in crisis. Cancer treatment, cancer control is in crisis in this country. And cancer's got such an important role to still play, and it's my responsibility to ensure that cancer will stay sustainable. And we started with a reform pre-COVID, and we just actually launched a new business model where we could see growth for this organization, expanding our products. Well, COVID arose on our horizons and changed everything. It actually forced a detour on our business reform. But you know, looking back, it was actually a good thing, because we had to change our operational model, because our resources were under huge strain. We couldn't do our services as usual, we couldn't do our fundraising, so huge strain put on this organization. But we adapted, and I'm so proud of what this team could achieve, how we adapted, how we reorganized, we right-sized this organization, and we now have a solid foundation just to grow this organization post-COVID again.
I remember when the beginning of lockdown, we're sitting there and we had a lot of patients sitting with cancer, really anxious, really worried because they weren't able to get to their treatments or they were delaying getting their checkups. And that's huge for a person who has cancer, because now the cancer could be spreading, it could be getting worse, or they just don't know. So it was, how do we support our patients and those, the caregivers around them? How do we support them through lockdown? And all of a sudden, our platforms digitally became so important. We were able to support people via WhatsApp. We have these WhatsApp support groups. How amazing is that? People could still reach out to us and connect and still be part of the cancer brand experience.
These programs that we now offer can reach anyone across the world. Yes, I'm so proud of that. But we are also building capacity, our organizational capacity. Workforce is key. The safety and the wellness of our staff, actually COVID reiterated and actually have shown us how important it is that we look after our talent and that we upskill and capacitate our staff to cope with the new way of work and the fast changing world.
It has been tough, to communicate with the person over the phone or over whatever, Zoom. So for me, that has been challenging, because I believe having that personal contact, it really builds strong relationship. That has been my challenge with COVID.
It was actually at the beginning, I was so worried because we were identified as emergency services with the hard lockdown period. And our care homes were open the whole time. But another part of our business that is really delivering a very big service to patients is our stoma clinics. People that use a stoma cannot go without it. And we were there from the first day of lockdown up to today to support our patients and to make it easy for them to come and get their stock, or we email or courier to them. But the most important thing is the stoma line, the new way of communicating to our patients. And I will never forget the face of one of our nurses when she just completed a session with a poor lady that was sent home in the Northern Cape with a stoma. And she didn't know how to cope with it. And then she heard about the line and she phoned. And the nurse said to me, when I saw her face on the phone, it was a video call, and I could see that she grasped what to do and understand what is happening with her. And that was priceless for the nurse, to know that we are now really able to support people in a very different way, in far-off areas. And we know that in South Africa, each household had at least one cell phone, and most of them are smartphones. So they can use that and communicate with us as if that nurse is in their own house.
He said, yes, it's cancer. And immediately it's like everything just got knocked out of me. All those plans that you had for tomorrow and the next day, it all of a sudden meant nothing. I woke up after surgery and there's this plastic bag hanging down my side, and I'm like, oh, so this is what they mean. At that point, I still never really fully realized what it was.
People get the diagnosis of either cancer or bowel problems. Then the doctor says you are going to have a bag. The information is so much they don't understand what the doctor is saying.
What was very important for me was the constant communication with Sister Monica and the ladies at the stoma clinic.
It's a wonderful clinic, the cancer clinic. All private patients that have gotten insurance or medical aid can get stock here. And any patient with a problem can come in and say, please will you help me, I've got a problem with my stoma. So I sit with the patient, I make drawings, I show pictures.
I started leveraging off what she's done with other people. We looked at options and alternatives and how can we get around this.
He decided it's a permanent colostomy, I have to live with it, and I'm going to make the best.
I was still in hospital when someone said to me, do you want to go and run the Chicago Marathon as a cancer survivor? And it was to raise funds for a pediatric oncology hospital being built in Palestine. Then I got told, oh, by the way, it's not next year, it's this year. And at that point, the furthest I ran was this 12-kilometer run, walk, pushing a wheelchair. I started getting more active and then sweat. And this bag starts falling off. And you can't get the damn bag to clip back on. You got that frustration. Now there's leaks.
Leakage is a big thing. And then smell is a big thing. Often we can't control noise in a bag, but we can control odor. These days there are so many excellent bags on the market.
I know of people, they've got this and for them their life is over. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be over. My life just began.
So the stoma sent him in a different direction with his life.
The stoma itself has given me the go. When people said, your life's over, it's embarrassing. And it's like, no, it's not embarrassing, it's not over. It saved my life. I'm thankful for it.
Hi guys, Warrior Rick here for CANSA. Congratulations, well done on your 90th anniversary. And it's time to celebrate. That's right, I know you haven't heard those words in a long time. Celebrate. Even during these calamitous times, these tumultuous adventures that we've been on of lack and loss. CANSA knows about loss. They know about lack as well, but they've never ever stopped going forward. And that's why I love being a volunteer. That's why I love being an ambassador for such a cause. What is the cause? To go forward, no matter what. And to also be empathetic and to be a counselor to those in need. More than ever, we have found worldwide during this global pandemic the need for us to come together as people in Ubuntu. I am because we are. That means I can't exist unless I help look after society. And as I look after society, society will help to look after me. That's CANSA, and that's what they've been doing.
COVID-19 brought the world to a standstill. But I think from the point of view where we're as a non-profit organization, within 2 weeks, mobilized ourselves in such a way that we could continue with fundraising. And when I say continue with fundraising, of course, we had to do it totally different. But again, we could tap into our volunteer structures. And I always remember one of our local volunteers here as well, Sandra Jacobs. She told me, whatever you are discussing now, within the next hour when you walk out of here, 7 people, you're going to share that message with 7 people. And I think in COVID, that became one of the things. Every time we put an idea on the table, 7 volunteers grasped on it and they got 7 people. So within the first 3 months, we raised an incredible amount of money on a brand new platform. And we could also tap into our volunteers, and that was fantastic because we looked at you guys who have the technology, have been using the technology to guide us. And if I think of our summit, lockdown in March, June, July, we summit, EP Digital, Rian, the RAT committee. And I know that I think we had like half of our audience were global audience because they wanted to see what we were doing. We were ahead of what other countries were doing. And I want to say it's thanks to our volunteers.
The biggest thing that our volunteers have experienced in the past 2 years is frustration. They have been frustrated that they can't visit their patients. They have been frustrated that they can't run fundraising events. They've missed the connection with fellow volunteers, with patients, with just the community that is the Cancer Association. And every meeting we've had, people are frustrated. They don't know what's happening with COVID. They don't know when they can get back into it. And yes, they have all really risen to the challenge of trying to do as much as we can virtually and telephonically, but they're missing that human connection.
When it comes to the patient, it has been really not an easy journey. When you look at level 5, the transport was an issue. If I remember very well, transport was available from 5 in the morning till 10 in the morning.
When 2020 and COVID hit us, oh my goodness, we were so out of our depth. And I think that for us in the services, want to be face to face with people, touch them, be there for them. COVID just limited us in such a way. And do you know what came out of that? We then realized we need to enter the virtual world. And my team just embraced that opportunity. And we developed a lot of new programs that is now virtually accessible.
What are the messages of hope? And I think that's what's so amazing, that our platforms are there, that we can reach out, we can connect and engage.
We need to try and take the positive out of what's happened in the past 2 years. And although I do believe we're going to have bigger in-person events in the future, whenever that future is going to be, the wonderful thing with technology is we're going to bring that technology with us. So I can already envisage the next time that I'm part of an actual event, that it's going to be so easy to stream directly from America or Europe and get one of my connections that I made overseas to deliver a live message to my community. And I'd be able to stream back from my community to when they have a relay, and we can have dual relays or dual events, which it's something we tried about 10 years ago with Australia, and it was a mission to link up a satellite link and having the perfect sound, and technology has made it so much easier. So I think when I look at the future and also what we've learned from the past is we're going to have a great hybrid of what we've had in the past 2 years and what we've had before COVID. And I'm looking forward to that because it's going to open a lot of avenues for us to explore the delivery of events in different.
2001, all of a sudden, where I was on the other side, enabling our volunteers, our staff to be there for patients, to be caregivers, encouraging caregivers, all of a sudden, I was on the other side of the bed when my mother was diagnosed with cancer. You know, to have been with her, sitting in the oncologist's office, and to hear that words from the oncologist that, "Mevrou, jy het kanker, melanoma." And for me, knowing cancer, the disease, and knowing that melanoma hasn't got a good prognosis, you know, that's shock. And all of a sudden, you know, being on the other side as a caregiver, having to support my mother. But then it was also when I realized the value of this organization. I was at that stage also an acting CEO. My children were in grade 1 and grade 2. I had a hectic life. It was then that I realized what the impact of this disease is on families.
I must now go back many, many years. I'm definitely personally touched by cancer. When I was in grade 7, my grandfather was diagnosed with lung cancer, and we then lived in the Free State, and he was the first patient that was treated on this new machine, the new radiation machine. I can't remember what the name was, but it was in the newspapers all over. But it was for us not something that's newsworthy, but we were so worried. Cancer, what's going to happen with him? And in that same year, my aunt also were diagnosed with breast cancer. And I saw for the first time how a body looks without both boobs. And that scared me. But it also stayed in the back of my mind. And when I had the opportunity to come and work for CANSA, that came back, you know, like a flashback. And I thought, I can now make a difference. And then my own dad was diagnosed with bladder cancer. He did not die of it. It was so well managed. For 12 years, he was a proud survivor. And I also shaved my hair for him because he was so brave fighting this fight.
A couple of years ago, we were sharing information about breast cancer. We shared an infographic about the warning signs and what to look out for. And about 2 days later, I had posted, and then she phoned me and said, "Thank you so much for sharing that. And by the way, when I saw that, I actually discovered a lump and noticed something unusual. And I went and I got it checked out. If it wasn't for you, and if you had not shared that, I would not have known." And so for me, just by sharing, using our platforms, we can save a life.
We as CANSA Association, we want really to focus on is to make sure that the policies who have been developed are being implemented in all the provinces. And again, to make sure that especially the top 5 cancers, the policies are there, are available. Especially for me, I would really like to see the policy of colorectal cancer being developed and also being implemented. So all what I've just mentioned is the vision of CANSA Association of South Africa for the next 5 years.
I see volunteers taking a much more central leadership role in the organization. We've always said that volunteers are important, and they are, and they've always been the backbone of the organization. But I've started to see how strong they can actually be and what amazing ideas they actually have. And with the smaller staff complement that we have, and with us asking them to step up, they've started doing that. And I can really see that we could go in very different directions with the input of people who are on the ground doing this work every day, coming up with ideas that we as staff probably never even thought about from our strategic positions. And so I feel like the volunteers are going to form a much stronger backbone of the organization than they ever have before.
I'd also like to see more involvement of stakeholders within CANSA being involved in the research process, so that there's a lot more collaboration, interdependency, and see more multidisciplinary type research, not purely clinic and lab-based research, but I'd like to see more multidisciplinary that would have greater sort of resonance and meaning for people on an everyday level as well. So not just always high-tech cancer research, which we do at the moment as well in our Type A grants, which is very much clinician-based, quite high-tech research, which sometimes takes a while to actually trickle down to people on the ground.
I think that 90 years for an organization was not easy. But this organization could adapt, could really see what are the international and national trends to adapt to. And the most important thing for me is that we can leave a legacy as staff and volunteers, as well as our partners, to pave the way forward and make sure that cancer will survive another 90 years. So please, guys, don't hesitate. Join us, help us, take our hands. We need you.
I'm fully committed to ensure that we are moving towards a cancer-free South Africa. Hopefully not another 90 years, but if that is what is required, cancer will be there for another 90 years.